Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dissect the world of finance and corporate filings to bring you the plain truth. Today we're diving into a document from GPB Automotive Portfolio LP, and let me tell you, this one's got more twists and turns than a used car lot on a Saturday. Get ready to buckle up as we decode what's really going on, and hey, before we jump in, if you're all about simplifying complex corporate speak and getting to the bottom line, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, we have a fantastic community over on our Discord server. Check the link in the description below to join the conversation. Alright, so what we have here is a Form 8K filing, which is basically a report for significant events that the Securities and Exchange Commission requires companies to file. This particular report tells us that the earliest event they're reporting on happened on the 20th of January 2026. If you remember, we're still in early 2024, so this filing is talking about events that are in the future for us. That's a bit of a mind bender, right? Now, the company we're looking at is GPB Automotive Portfolio LP. They're incorporated in Delaware and have a commission file number and an IRS employer identification number. You can think of these as their official government IDs for business. This Form 8K is for something called other events, as you can see here. What does that mean in simple terms? It means something important happened that doesn't fit into the typical boxes of other SEC reports. It's like a catch all for big news. They're filing this under specific rules from the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. This act is a foundational law for how companies trade stocks and how they have to tell investors what is going on. It's all about transparency to protect investors. Here is where the story gets really interesting. The filing states that GPB Automotive Portfolio LP has already sold off pretty much everything they owned, and on top of that, they are now in receivership. Receivership basically means a court has stepped in and appointed someone to manage the company's affairs because things have gone seriously wrong. In this case, it's because of an order from the US District Court for the Eastern District of New York. So this isn't a company trying to grow and expand. This is a company that is in the process of winding down its operations under court supervision. Because they are in receivership, they are not filing their usual detailed annual reports or quarterly reports like a normal company. Instead, they are using this Form 8K to file the reports that their court-appointed manager, the receiver, files with the court. So what we're reading here is essentially a summary of a court document. It's a special way of reporting allowed by the SEC for companies in receivership. This allows them to keep investors informed without going through the full complex reporting process of a functioning business. So, the main event in this filing is that on the 20th of January 2026, the receiver provided an update on the state of things for the last quarter of 2025, from the 1st of October to the 31st of December. This update is called the 2025 Year-End Status Report, and it's attached to this 8K as Exhibit 99.1. When they say it's incorporated by reference, it means this 8K filing is referencing that attached report as if it were part of this document itself. So to get the full picture of what is happening with GPB Automotive Portfolio LP, you'd need to look at that attached status report. Now, when a company goes into receivership, trees a whole process for people who are owed money or have claims against the company to get paid or have their issues resolved. Tree's a company called Epi Corporate Restructuring, LLC, that's handling all of that. They're called the claims and noticing agent. Think of them as the official point of contact for anyone with a stake in the company's final settlement. They're the ones who make sure everyone gets the right information and that claims are handled properly. This section, the cautionary note regarding forward-looking statements, is super important, especially in a situation like this. It's basically a legal disclaimer saying that anything said about the future might not actually happen. They're telling us that statements about things like future distributions, managing cash reserves, or how they'll handle investor claims are based on their current best guesses, which could be wrong. They are being upfront that future results could be very different from what they expect due to all sorts of risks. This is not unusual, but in a receivership, it's even more critical to understand that the future path is highly uncertain and depends on many factors outside their direct control, like court decisions and the success of asset sales. And here is another crucial warning. They are cautioning investors not to put too much faith into the financial and other details in that 2025 year-end status report. They emphasize that this report wasn't created to help with investment decisions. It was made just to meet the reporting requirements for the court case. The financial information within it is unaudited, meaning it hasn't been checked by an independent accountant and it's limited in what it covers. This is a strong signal that the numbers you see in that report are not to be taken as a definitive picture of the company's financial health in a way that you'd expect from a normally functioning business. It's more of a snapshot for legal purposes. Moving on to item 9.01. This is where they list any financial statements and exhibits they are including with this filing. And here it is, Exhibit 99.1. This is the actual status report for that last quarter of 2025 that we've been talking about. This is the core document that gives us the update on the receivership. Then you have Exhibit 104, which is the cover page interactive data file. This is basically data that's embedded in the filing, designed to be easily read by computers, especially for things like financial reporting standards. It's not something you'd typically read through for a story, but it's important for the regulatory system. Finally, we have the signature section. This is where the company, or in this case, the authorized representative of the company, signs off on the report. And look at this date, the 6th of February 2026. This is when the report was signed. It is interesting because the events being reported on are from late 2025 and January 2026. It just shows the timeline of how these filings work. And the signature is from Robert Schmiel, who is listed as the Chief Executive Officer. Even though the company is in receivership, the filing is still made under the company's name and signed by its authorized officers where possible, with the receiver overseeing everything. Now, let's wrap this up with my take, GPB Automotive Portfolio LP is clearly in a difficult situation. The fact that they've sold off all their assets and are under court-ordered receivership tells you that the business, as it was, is no longer operational in the traditional sense. They are in a phase of liquidation and settling claims. The key takeaway here isn't about financial performance in terms of profit or revenue growth, because that chapter is effectively closed. Instead, the focus is entirely on the receivership process. The updates from the receiver contained within the reference status report are what truly matter for anyone still connected to this entity. They're trying to orderly wind things down. And the warnings about the status report's information being unaudited and limited are very telling. It means investors and creditors need to be extremely cautious and rely on official court communications and the claims agent Epic for accurate updates. The biggest risk is really just the inherent uncertainty of a receivership. Things can take a long time, and outcomes are often unpredictable. The strength here, if you can call it that, is in the structured legal process that's now in place to manage the wind down, rather than letting it descend into complete chaos. The opportunity for those involved is the potential to recover some portion of their investment or claims through a structured process. Ultimately, this filing signifies the end of an operational era for GPB Automotive Portfolio LP and the beginning of a potentially long and complex legal and financial settlement. Alright, that's our breakdown of this particular filing. What's your take on this situation and what it means for the investors and creditors involved? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you want more in-depth looks into corporate documents, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to join our Discord community through the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Corporate Decoder.